Hey everybody. I hope everybody's having a good weekend. So, I want to talk to you guys about why it's important not to help your bearded dragons shed. The exception would be around their eyes, because you don't want them to scratch their eyeballs trying to remove stuck shed, and around their fingers and toes so that there's no circulation being cut off or they lose the toe. Other than that, you really don't need to help them unless they have completed their shed and you can just see that there's a spot that's really truly stuck shed. Then you can help them. And if that's happening, more than once in a great while, double check your humidity levels in your tanks. They should be around 25%. 20 to 30 is pretty good. I don't think you should be much over 30. Some people say they go up to 40, but to me that seems like a lot for them. So, this is Finnian. Say hi, Finnian. Yeah, not amused. Okay. Finnian had a little bit of shed happening, as you can see. Come here, buddy. His arms are shedding. His little gauntlet of armor here has come off, and that's new scale. And then this is old scale getting ready. And then this is new scale that has already come off. So that's happening. But he turned himself over coming down off of his hide, his log hide, a couple days ago. And there was some shed on his tail. Come here, buddy. Come back into frame. That came off before it was ready. It just, the impact of going from the log onto the floor of his enclosure, it just came off. So here's what I want to show you. It wasn't ready to come off, okay? So I want you to see a little bit here on his leg too. It's not terrible. Would you please stay in frame for 2 minutes? Please. Thank you. And his leg is actually fine. But if you look here on his tail, okay, you see how it was sort of pink? Yeah, because it wasn't quite ready to come off. Usually you'll see it turn kind of whitish, more like down here. And it'll get drier and drier until it falls off. So if you see any pink or it's still kind of moist under there, leave it alone. Now, because this shed fell off before it was ready, and this is a section of his tail that's kind of a problem. This is an old injury that he got that came off, and his scales came off like a nickel-sized clump a few years back. So it's healed up and he's fine, but sometimes it takes a while to shed because it's got this little kind of a dip in the scales here. So what happens is everything was fine. The shed had started to come off on one side. Then he hit the ground, and the rest of it that wasn't quite ready to come off came off. So in the midst of all of that, it was still pink under there, and I knew this was coming, so I wanted to share with you so you can see. What happens is, remember, their basking spots are around 100 degrees, give or take, right? Okay. All of this discoloration here, those are scorch marks because the skin wasn't quite ready. It came off anyway. And when he went under his basking light to bask, he got a little cooked on some of his scales. Okay? The reason you never want to help them shed is because their skin knows when it's finished doing what it needs to do and can slough off the extra. It does not need your help. Because if you think, oh, well, it's coming up on this side, so yeah, it's ready to be pulled off. Yeah, you're going to damage the scales and possibly the skin underneath it, okay? Now, this isn't terrible because, like I said, it was almost ready to come off. It just was taking its time. It was all the way off on one side, but not all the way on the other. So what ended up happening was, because he had a little impact, it came off all the way, probably 2 to 3 days before it would have fallen off on its own anyway. And so he got up there to bask, and so he, got literally some scorch marks. Now, this is okay and he doesn't seem to be bothered by it. I am treating it with vitamin E oil anyway, just to make sure I rub it in at night before he goes to bed. You don't want to rub anything in that's oil-based and then in the daytime and then let them bask because they're going to cook. So you don't want to do that. But anyway, this will be fine. And next time he sheds, whenever that is, later this year or next year, this will come off like it's supposed to, and there will be no scorch marks. But that's, because we had an opportunity to show you, I wanted to give you one of the many reasons why you do not want to help your dragons shed. There have been videos after videos after videos online where literally all they do is take tweezers and shed their dragons. Please don't do that. Like, really, don't do that. I know it's tempting, and anybody who's ever had a peeling sunburn, you can't stop picking at it, but please don't do it, okay? Only time is if your dragon has completed a shed and there's shed around their eyes that they're constantly scratching or rubbing their faces against their tank and could hurt their eyes. Or something is on their toes, like this. This toe looks like it has stuck shed. It actually doesn't. This part actually shed first, this piece of his toe. Don't ask me why. And then the rest of the foot did it a couple of weeks later. So, but you can see that, it's not actually constrictive. It's just on there. It's fine. The toe is alive and well and happy. So, but that would be the only other time would be fingers, toes, or eyes. Other than that, their shed is way capable of coming off all by itself. Please stop helping them. Sometimes shed looks like it's really ready to go, and you give it a yank, and then you realize, oh God, it wasn't ready to go. It's really moist under there. Or, oh, the scales are soft and pink. I guess maybe they weren't ready to come off. And, your dragon gets hurt. So, and just because they don't complain at you, because, again, people, these animals do not meow, bark, squeak, or chirp. One of the reasons we like them is because they're nice and quiet. So they have no way of telling you, ow, that freaking hurt. Now, sometimes they'll let you know. Chimera, for instance, never wants his hands or feet touched ever, period, end of discussion. And if you try, he will shake them and hit them at you until you stop looking at them. So, but I suspect that's because he's probably been injured before. So, and he's got that funky knee, so that, he's well aware of. So that might be why he is more assertive about it. Where like this sweet boy Finnian, my little sweet man. Yes, hi sweetheart. My little 7-year-old mommy's boy that I love, love, love. He's so sweet. He is my favorite ambassador because he's great to anyone that wants to touch him or anyone that wants to hold him. And I do have protocols if anybody holds him. They have some things they have to do first. So, he's wonderful to everybody, and I can take him with me, and I often do, especially now that he's turning himself upside down, because I don't want to see him get injured or turn upside down and me not be here. I mean, obviously there are some times I cannot take him. I can't take him to doctor's offices or restaurants or places where animals are not welcome. So fortunately, I live in an area that's very pet friendly. So 90% of the stores are like, oh yeah, bring him in. Can I hold him? Can I take a picture of him? Tell me all about it. So, he gets around and he does really well. And most of the time they don't think he's real until he looks at them. But anyway, so I just wanted to give you guys that rundown one more time about here's some of the reasons why. Remember that when your reptile is shedding, it is shedding because especially for adults, it's an annual or semi-annual time for them where they shed their old skin and grow new, because they don't shed their skin cells every day like we do. So they have to do it kind of seasonally or annually. And so it's important that you don't mess around with it so that they get new scales and new skin, and scalation is appropriate and doesn't get damaged, because then they got to have it the whole year before they do it again often. So yeah, little bitty scorch marks. And like I said, he doesn't seem to be bothered by it. I mean, I can touch it all day and he's like, whatever. But, again, it's also because it was really close to wanting to come off. Sometimes it'll come off on one side and it's nowhere near ready to come off. So keep your hands off their shed, people, unless it's eyes, hands, or feet. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you for being a good model, Finnian. We appreciate it. Have a very good day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.